Are you looking for peace of mind at your doorstep? Look no further. With the Blink Video Doorbell, your home's entrance is always within your control. Check out the link in the video description to learn more and get your Blink Video Doorbell on Amazon. Your home is in your hands.
A Liberal frontbencher wants an industry superfund giant, backed by the embattled CFMEU, to be ditched from the Albanese government's multi-billion-dollar social housing plans. The Construction, Forestry, Mining and Energy Union is a key shareholder in CBus, a high-profile industry superannuation fund with 930,000 members and $94 billion under management, and has key construction union members on its board. It is also behind CBus Property, the superfund's property development arm. But following allegations of beakies acting as union officials, opposition Senator Andrew Bragg is questioning why CBus should be allowed to be part of Prime Minister Anthony Albanese's $10 billion Housing Australia Future Fund. Labour leaders around Australia are now distancing themselves from the CFMEU, after John Setka quit as Victorian Secretary following reports beakies had been recruited as health and safety officials. Employment and Workplace Relations Minister Tony Burke on Wednesday announced the CFMEU's construction division would be placed into independent administration, but he stopped short of pushing for the union to be deregistered. That means the Fair Work Commission will have government support to take over the CFMEU. The number one job of any union and its officials is to look after its members, Mr. Burke said. The reported behavior from the construction division of the CFMEU is the complete opposite of this. It is abhorrent and it is intolerable. Senator Bragg has called for CBus to be banned from participating in the federal government's $10 billion Housing Australia Future Fund. The Labour government in Canberra is trying to get the CBus Super Fund to help them with the housing crisis, he told Sydney Radio 2 GB's broadcaster Chris O'Keefe on Tuesday. Now, I think Labour is making housing worse because all their solutions are how they can send more money off to the vested interests at the unions rather than build more houses. The organization's been ostracized from the labor movement, but they're still okay to apparently help the government on housing. I mean, it stinks. The CFMEU last month won a 21% pay rise over 4 years for its Victorian members. In 2022, CBus chairman Wayne Swan, a former treasurer and deputy prime minister, suggested the organization would put $500 million into Housing Australia Future Fund projects. Senator Bragg argued CBus was conflicted because it would be charging higher building costs to taxpayers under Labour's plan to build 30,000 public housing homes over 5 years. These are the people trying to bugger it up, they're the people making it more expensive to do construction in Australia, he said. Senator Bragg also questioned why the CFMEU gave $1.25 million to CBus in the 2022-23 financial year. We shouldn't have a system where people's retirement savings is being used for political purposes, certainly not for purposes like supporting thuggish behavior, beakies, organized crime, and that's what I think is happening, he said. People's hard-earned money is being used to underpin mafia-like behavior. Mr. Swan's deputy Rita Malia is president of the CFMEU's New South Wales branch. The CBus board also has prominent CFMEU members, including former National Construction Secretary Dave Noonan and the union's former Australian Capital Territory boss Jason O'Mara, who was previously accused of threatening to run businesses out of town. In another twist, CBus board member Danita Wan, who is also chief executive of Master Builders Australia, has called for the Australian Competition and Consumer Commission and the Fair Work Ombudsman to investigate the CFMEU. The employer representative on the CBus board told Daily Mail Australia putting the CFMEU's national office in charge of the Victorian branch was a weak response. A self-appointed internal investigation simply won't cut it, she said. We need to see fully resourced ACCC and FWO investigations alongside an interstate police strike force. The CFMEU's Victorian branch is now in administration, under the control of the national office, but its website promotes CBus. The Superfund's wholly owned development arm, CBus Property built 1 William Street in Brisbane, where Queensland government ministers now have their offices. Despite its Labour connections, Queensland's former Liberal National Party government, led by Campbell Newman, gave CBus the dollar.